Plumbing, HVAC, electrical, doesn't matter what. What are some trends?
Hack work.
It's great. Actually, though, you're not wrong because the building out here right now, I mean, we go to so many new homes where it's like they're 1 to 3 years old and they just have issues. Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Brad and David with Dino Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical. This is episode 2, A Day in the Life.
Let's rock.
Let's do it. What does your typical day look like as a plumber? I'm not a plumber, so I mean, I give you some stories, but what's your typical day?
Typical day, roll out of bed, just try to get ready to go.
Like 5 a.m.?
At 5 a.m., just trying to figure out what I'm doing that day. Well, the nice thing is, right, with us over at Dino, we have we use this app that helps us plan our day. So
House Call?
Yeah, House Call Pro. I didn't know if we were throwing that out there, but House Call Pro, yeah, we use House Call Pro, and so we have, as long as we get our scheduling in the day prior, we're able to plan our next day, which is nice. So but some days we don't get that. So really, day in the life is just for me is hopefully trying to plan it. If I can see it the day before, it's looking at, okay, 7 o'clock, I have a garbage disposal to get to, and go try to knock that out. But while you're in there, obviously we're doing home inspections, all the fun things, making sure that's actually the issue, the root cause of what's going on. But yeah, for the most part, it's just step by step, knocking out all the issues that these houses have. So,
do you ever wake up and just shotgun a Red Bull?
Every morning.
Yeah. Probably have to.
Just every morning. Hey, you know what? I'm dead until I make it to Maverick.
Yeah.
It's just getting to Maverick. It's like eyes closed, just like, oh, here's another.
It's like
day.
our days start and end there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
It just depends on what time.
Yep. Go get that Red Bull, crack it open, and shotgun it, and then you're ready to rock and roll. It's like every morning. That's for me. Kidneys are starting to feel it. I don't know if that's a good sign, but maybe need a detox.
No need detox, guys.
Yep.
So how'd you decide to become a plumber?
I don't know if we touched base on this last time a little bit, but
I don't think so. I know for me, like, I never decided to be a plumber.
Yeah, I don't think I did either. I think I just kind of showed up.
But I'm also not a plumber, so.
Oh, man. Well, for me, actually, I started off working every summer. Like 13. Well, prior to that, but, as a little kid, grandpa, handed me a shovel, said, go dig a hole. And so I went and dug a hole. But at 13, I started helping out. My grandparents owned a cabinet shop out in Enterprise. And I did that every summer, building cabinets, helping the guys, prep work and stuff like that. So slowly, I've been in the trades for some time. And then 16, I left, 16, 17, I left school and started going to school at night. Still got my high school diploma, but it was at night. But I did cabinets, and my grandparents owned a brick lane shop too. So we did refractory high temperature lining for refineries, stuff like that, just so the steel wouldn't melt. But I did both of those full time. So they would have contracts for the brick lane, and it would last 6 months or whatever, and then go do cabinets. So slowly I did that, and then went into framing houses and to different types of trade work, and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Thought I was going to be a general contractor for a little bit there, because that was kind of the goal I was reaching for. And then went to Salt Lake, came back, worked at the cabinet shop for a little bit. Things kind of went sideways there. And then in between looking for a job, trying to figure out what trade I wanted to go into to kind of learn for GC, I got into plumbing. And it was the weirdest thing, because I was not looking for a plumbing job. I was just like, the pay looked good.
I think that was both of us.
Yeah. I was like, oh man, the pay does not seem bad. Like, I'm going to just go knock this out for the time being until I could really figure out what I want to do. I need to make a paycheck, so I'm going to go do what I want to do. Started doing service plumbing and just dove into it and loved it. It was the one job I've actually just like enjoyed, because it's the service, right? I've done new construction for so long that it was just like, you're with your boys, right? Because like, it's all the crews I worked on were just strictly men, so it's just with the boys being boys out there, and you're at the same location every day. sun up, sun down. You're just whatever it may be. You're not dealing with other people. So with service plumbing, what kind of drove me into was dealing with new people every day. And it's just me. Like for the most part, it's just in service, right? You're just yourself. Like sometimes you have a helper with you, but for like 90% of the time, it's just you. So you're just dealing with homeowners, having a good old time. So like that kept me entertained and like intrigued in the trade. But I mean, yeah, for the most part, I've loved it. I love problem solving. So, trying to go into something that maybe they've called me out like, hey, I've had 2 other plumbers out here that couldn't figure it out. And what's nice for me, and this isn't to be big headed, but like I haven't, I've done this for 4 years now. And they'll be like, oh, I had 2 plumbers that were, this and that. They have this much experience, couldn't figure it out. And I'm like, oh, let me see what I could do. And start slowly working it out. And I figure it out. They're like, oh, what? That's awesome. Like you just saved us so much money. The next guy was going to say, we needed to do this and that. It was going to cost us tens of thousands. It was something so simple. And I was like, well, it took me 4 hours to figure it out, but I figured it out, But it's that. I mean, for me, that's kind of what, nothing really got me into plumbing besides like the pay looked well. And then I got into it. And then after that, it was just like, I loved it, man. I love dealing with people and it's so much fun. So obviously, as you listen to this podcast, I don't shut up. So that's what's fun for me. I feel like
this is a whole training for your future as a Walmart greeter.
Yeah. Hey, one day I make very poor financial decisions, So,
that's why you have to work.
Yeah. So I'll be there at 80 years old, just saying, welcome to Walmart.
I love that. So it's more, the people are more fun for you than necessarily the challenge, but satisfying the people is what kind of brings it all full circle.
For me, yeah. It's just, and I wanted to be a firefighter. That was my childhood dream. I'm going to be a firefighter, Mom, But wife said no. She's like, you're not running into a burning building. Crush a man's dreams. But I was like, that's kind of smart.
I became a plumber.
Yeah, we got 3 kids, so I became a plumber. That was my next best I could give back, whatever. But really satisfying customers and problem solving. I love problem solving because that's what I'm good at. So that's enjoyable to me, trying to figure out solutions for these problems, what could save people money. But speaking of, what got you into plumbing? Because what's your role in plumbing? I mean, obviously you've done a few things, right? Here in Dino is a little bit different, but prior, how did you step into plumbing?
Like you, unexpected. Wasn't sure what I was going to do. I'd operated several businesses before, and then I had an opportunity to go in and help a plumbing business. Again, was just let's be there to kill some time and figure out what's next. And then I dove into that. And then we became friends. So I like to tell everybody I'm only a plumber because of my friend.
That's right.
But I do all the back end. I take the phone calls. I deal with the taxes, the payroll. It's all the stuff everybody hates, but I absolutely love it. Keeps these guys going, though. I feel like I have a more important job than you guys, but it's debatable.
Wait, you're skipping the best part, though. What was your first step into plumbing? You were a warehouse manager.
Yeah, I was. So managed inventory.
Maybe you're not a plumber, but you know all the plumbing
But I know some things. Yeah, I do know some things.
Ran parts. You pulled a water line out with a Ford Ranger.
I did. Right through a house. Yeah. We were at this house in Bloomington Hills, and one of our guys, he could not get this pipe through. It was like a sleeve pipe that we're running the pipe back through the sleeve. And he was yanking. There was like 3 dudes out there, and I pull up and there's 3 guys yanking. So it looks like they're having a tug of war with the house. And I'm like, man, this is stupid. Like, I got a truck, I have a hitch. Let's tie it to the hitch and let's see what happens. And so we tied it to the hitch, and we might have burned up the clutch, but we got that pipe through. So solving problems.
It's a Ford effing Ranger.
It's a Ford effing Ranger. That's actually one of my favorite stories. Shout out to Zach out there. We love you. Hope you're still killing it.
Heck yeah. Dude's doing commercial now. He's big baller out there.
Is he?
Yep, doing big work now.
Good for him.
He's not playing the residential field.
I love seeing where all these guys end up. Like for you, you're out in the field all day. Obviously you knew everybody, but for me, like I got to deal with all the guys consistently on a daily basis. And it's fun seeing where all those people have landed now. I know we talked about it a little bit before, but seeing all the guys that we kind of grew up with succeed now, I think is one of the best parts for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I enjoy it. I enjoy talking to these guys in the part house or in the part stores, I guess. See where they're at, and
that's because they all love you every time you go in. Hey, David.
They have to pretend.
I never see anyone else that goes into that store where they act like that, though.
Yeah. Well, fake it till you make it. Hey, David, we like you, I guess.
Keep spending money here.
Yeah, keep spending money here. Yeah, you're our favorite. They're all like that, but no, they're cool. All these part stores are cool, man. They're all good people. It's nice here. I don't know if it's like nationwide, right? We're in St. George and Salt Lake now. Oh, by the way, we opened up a branch in Salt Lake, so we're out there now. Hit us up.
Yeah. Shout out to Jason in Salt Lake. It's standard up there.
Yeah. No, it's cool, man. It's what's nice with St. George, really, right now that we're just barely starting to Salt Lake. I haven't really been to a lot of the part stores, but here, what's cool is a lot of these part guys are very knowledgeable, like even into code, which is crazy because it's not. Sure, they should know the parts, right? They're selling parts, but they're not plumbers, so they shouldn't really know code. So it is cool that they can help you out. But like, hey, man, like I'm running into this situation or whatever, and they come and they're like, they try to help you problem solve. Like, oh, well, like I don't have this because they don't make this part, but I got to make this work. And they're just, oh yeah, let's figure it out together. And we'll be on their benches, like trying to like piece it together to make like a temporary fix until we could find the primary, what's going to be long-term fix. So it's a cool thing with these part stores here.
Yeah, I think you're kind of forced to figure it out. I know for me working the inventory side on the warehouse, I was forced on a daily basis to figure things out with our guys.
Yeah.
That's that fun, challenging side though.
Problem solving.
Problem solving.
Fun, man.
That's kind of like business owners. All we do is problem solve. So
yeah,
your day just doubles that.
Yeah, and they're long days. They're very long days. It was Friday. Friday was out till like 8 o'clock.
Yeah, we don't have hours.
Yeah.
24/7.
I like to say we do,
hours.
but we don't.
No. Wait, what's funny when we started this, we're like, okay, we're gonna be different. We're gonna stop at 5. We're not gonna work weekends.
We promised our guys, hey, no Saturday calls.
Dan's out running calls yesterday.
Dan's like, I hate you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, he chooses. Like we're like,
he said yes.
Yeah, you don't have to, but like, you know what I mean? And he's like, I got it. So it's you can't, not in the service role. Like everyone's emergency, even in plumbing, right? We're like, oh, you have a running toilet. Like, you know what I mean? It's a fill valve. That's bad. That's something that could wait until Monday. But, the problem we run in is like, we are also like customer service, right? Like if it's an emergency to the customer in their eyes, like it has to be an emergency to us.
Yeah.
Which we're like, okay, like, you're not going to lose a lot of water. It's barely running. Like that could wait till Monday. But you know what I mean? We show up. We're like, well, we'll be there. Like, no problem. We're not like, can you wait? It's just like, okay, like, can this wait till Monday? They're like, well, I don't think so. Today's my only day off. We're like, all right, we'll show up.
That's what I love about Mike. When you call him on a Saturday and you're like, yeah, hey, dude, it's this is what's going on, this, and that. And he's like, man, that can wait till Monday. And then he'll just kind of chuckle and he'll be like, all right, I'll be there.
Yeah.
So what do you think, just talking about challenges and problem solving, what do you think the most unexpected challenge has been as a plumber so far?
For like,
It could be either or. It could be on the people side or it could be on the problem solving side of the actual issue.
Man.
Or talk about both.
There's a lot. Which for me, I think once you're getting into this business, right? Once you're getting into service, because like you could go new construction, and it's funny because service and new construction hate each other. Like in plumbing, they hate each other. One's better than the other, whatever, But when you're coming into service, like the biggest issue which you're going to run into is you're not just a plumber, right? You're a plumber, you're an electrician, you're a landscaper. Like you're a little bit of everything, which is crazy. Because
it's crazy because you have to explain it to a customer. Otherwise, when you get there, they think you're going to take care of everything from the lawn to the dirt to the concrete, which we do handle it, and we make sure the right people take care of their profession the way that needs to be done so the customer's happy.
But I always tell people, I may be Mexican, but I'm not a good landscaper. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I could get it back as best as possible, but like, I'm not that kind of Mexican. Like, I'm sorry.
I don't know,
love
man.
me or hate me.
Your work says otherwise. Like, people are stoked with the finish at the end when they see their yard has a tractor in it. It's just digging up everything.
Oh yeah.
Their years of hard work, and then they're surprised in the end how good it comes out.
It really does, and for me, I'm such like it has to be perfect, and like I think that's a massive struggle. If you're a perfectionist, right, and you're coming into service, nothing is ever perfect, like to an extent, right? Like you could get it as far as possible, but when you got to start rerouting stuff, like it's just not like new construction. It's a land of dirt. You run your underground, and it's like you push it all back, and then the next guy's gonna come out and level it, pour their concrete, and it's just like there's really not any issues that you're running into with like, hey, these people got like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of like equipment in their house, or like their landscaping. They just laid all this rock and zero-scaped it, and like you got to work around all this and put it back the same way. Like St. George is massive for like decorative rock, right? Because people are trying to like use less water, so they're taking away their lawns and they're putting in like rock. But you'll have like normal gray rock, and then they'll have black and red rock. You know, make it look like a river coming down, and you're like, I kind of got to run a water main through that, you know? So it's hard. Like we try our best to push it to the side and put it all back the same way. But I always tell people, like, at the end of the day, we're plumbers. You know, I could do the best, like to the best of my ability to make this right. And like, I will try, but like, don't hate me if it's not like perfect. Cause in my eyes, I walk away and I'm like, that's good, but I wish it was better, you know? Cause but that's the problem that I run into here. Is like, I want to be a perfectionist, but sometimes it's just not possible. You could do everything in your power. But I've never had a complaint though, which is the nice thing. Is like, it's internal, right? For me, I'm like, I could do better. But customers are like, man, I thought that was gonna be worse. So
well, and it's all on how you take care of your own home too. Like we always say, we treat others' houses like our houses are their investment, like it's our investment. It's something you always give me a hard time about, but I'll be out there picking weeds, and it has like nothing to do with what we're doing, or I'm fixing sprinklers that we're not charging for. But really, in the end of the day, like the difference to me is the customer sees those little things, and then that's what's gonna keep them calling us again. Yeah,
they love it. So I mean, it's good, but I like I say, like another, I guess, hard part when you're walking into this too, for anyone like wanting to get into the trades, and like, I would say it's just, if you're going to get into service plumbing, right, you could do all the plumbing. Like, I don't feel like the plumbing's the hard work. Like, it's the customer service. It's knowing how to interact with people, because you run into different people, right? You run into people that you could joke with and be yourself and have a good time. But you also run into people that are just like, open a door in zombie mode. You know, they're just like, fix my problem. And you got to know how to interact with different types of personalities. And it's a struggle, right? Because like for me, I'm very, let me give you a hug. You know, like let's have a good time. Let's party. You know, I know your like house is flooding, but let's have a good time. Like,
it's okay. I'll fix it.
Look on the brighter side of life. Your house didn't blow up. Right? It's tough because it's their biggest investment in life, right? Your home is your biggest investment in life. And that's why I love plumbing, because people fail to realize that. Like, I feel like nowadays everyone's like jumping houses, and they go through 10 houses in their lifetime, which is crazy. My parents have been in the same house. I think it's crazy. My parents are in the house my mom grew up in. Like, yeah,
that's insane.
And but
awesome.
Like a lot of people do that, but now it's like jumping ship. But still, it's like $500,000, you know, home, $1 million home, and it's like you got to go and take care of it. But like I said, a weird part of it all is just like interacting with customers. I love it, but if you're coming into the trade, you got to be ready for some heartbreak out there. Some people are ruthless, you know, but and mainly for me, right? I look like a baby still. Like I got baby face.
Yeah, that's probably a bigger challenge for you than anything.
Yeah, people like, it's a very, right? You walk in and like they answer the door and they look at you like, man, are you still in high school, bro? Like, what are you doing here? And then I'm like, just give me 5. Like, give me 5 minutes. Let me explain it to you. And I'll start explaining everything, and they're like, huh? What did you tell me? You know, they're lost. They're like, you know a lot. No, I've had like 5 people apologize to me at the end. Like, we're sorry we judged you. And I'm like, huh? And they're like, we're just sorry we judged you. We didn't think you knew anything. And like, we don't know half the stuff you talked about, because like that's more plumbing knowledge than we know. So it's weird, but it's all confidence. It's like, obviously they're calling you for a reason, right? Because they don't know what to do. They don't know how to fix it. And like, you run into some of the senior residents here that are like, you know, in their 60s, and like to us, we're still kids to them. I'm 25, I'll be 26 this year. So in their eyes, I'm a kid, you know, and no matter, they probably look at you. We've been on jobs where they look at you, they're like, what's up, youngster? And you're like, man, I'm in my 30s, you know, I got kids, I got a house, I got bills too. But I mean, that's the biggest thing, is like, it's you got to go in with confidence, because they called you as a professional, you know, so you just got to believe in yourself and all your training and experience that you've run into, that you are the best person for them in this trade, you know. But yeah.
Nice. So trends, like you brought up this trend, like housing trend, people move house to house. So what are some trends that you see out there in plumbing right now? Plumbing, HVAC, electrical, doesn't matter what are some trends?
Hack work. Just
It's
kidding.
great. Actually, though, you're not wrong,
No.
because the building out here right now, I mean, we go to so many new homes where it's like they're 1 to 3 years old and they just have issues.
You know what? No, it's crazy because they're like, don't get me wrong. There's so many good plumbers out there. There's plumbers out there that are better than me, like way better. You know, I only got 4 years in this thing. I mean, like we got Michael who's got, 40 plus years in this thing and he knows so much, so it's like, I'm far from perfect. I got a lot to learn, but a trend I am seeing though, I feel like it's more upbringing than not. And it's like, it's my generation. I blame my generation, right? It's, people don't care as much as they used to, right? My grandpa, and my dad too. Like, okay, so I moved in with my grandparents at 14, 15 years old. But my dad, man, like he worked for the refinery. So like my dad always worked. He would call it the money train, right? He worked in the refinery, so like the oil trains or whatever, or the trains with they got the big oil tankers or whatever come in, and he's like, "Oh, got OT, baby, money trains here," and he go hustle, all the time. My dad's hustling to give us what we wanted, whatever that may be. Like my dad rarely said no. He's like, "Yeah, like I work my butt off for you guys to have what you want in life." And then like my grandfather, the way he kind of brought me up too is like, you're a man of your word. All you have is your word at the end of the day. You say you're going to do something, do it. And then him owning a business was like, I remember doing jobs for him and I'm like, hey, grandpa, like, I've been doing this for like a year now and I'm thinking if we do this or do that, like we could do better at this. And he's like, I don't pay you to think, I pay you to work. So he's just like, get your ass to work. So it was one of those things where he's just like, go. And I was like, all right, fine. I'll just shut up. But it's his thing was it's his name on the company, right? If it's done wrong, it falls back on him as the company owner. So I feel like a lot of people just don't care about that it's their name on it anymore. They're just like, we got water to it, right? Water showed up, so it's not a big deal. And there's just not a lot of thought process into making things look good. Because now we use PEX pipe, right? So it's just plastic. It curves and folds or whatever you want it to do. So it's like, you could just swoop lines and it just look whatever. We're back in the day, you use copper, so you got nice 90s and things look nice. I'm all about like show and tell, like look at the work I did and it looks good. So I think we're just running into like not a lot of care for your name being on stuff anymore.
Which is crazy because I think the biggest trend that I see is overpricing.
Yeah, that too.
And so when you mix up the hack work or just even lack of care with the overprice, that kills me.
Yeah, because with the trend, you're going to pay top dollar, and which I feel like would be fair for like a master plumber that's really good at his work, but you'll still pay that top dollar for a guy just getting into the trade.
Apprentice.
Yeah, and he's just getting into the trade, and you know what? I've run into some 1 year apprentices that could outdo a 10-year journeyman.
All day.
You know what I mean?
It's not everybody, but
so it's not everybody, but it is the majority. You know what I mean? It is the majority. So it's like you're running into that a lot where it's like you're paying a master plumber price for a guy that really just doesn't know and he's just winging it. He's just like, it worked and it didn't leak. So we got it done. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you are running into that trend where it's a lot of overpricing. Profit margins are killer right now. But I feel like that's what puts us in such a good place, right? Is like we know what a lot of people are doing. And it's like, are they getting the jobs? Yeah, they're getting it. And people are using them. Mm-hmm. So it's like they're buying the name, right? And it's cool. Like they're hitting home runs and they're collecting such big amount. But eventually, like in a town like St. George, right? That only works for so long until people start realizing, okay, we're getting overcharged because there's this company in the middle that still gives us high-end quality work, but isn't charging an arm and a leg. It's like plumbing's expensive. People got to realize that, right? Like plumbing is expensive. There's no getting away from that. But there is like ripping you off at the same time.
Right.
So it's like I always said, this isn't the fastest race to the bottom. So there is bottom guys that won't be here in 5 years, like, because they undercharge. So it's like us, like, are there guys lower than us? Yeah. Will those guys be here in 5 years? Probably not, because they're not taking care of when your truck breaks down or a piece of drain equipment breaks, whatever it may be, when those big expenses come, they don't have the funds to pay for it. We're making it, we're doing okay, but we could, our radiator just broke, right? We had to fix that, $1,500. Okay, we got it. Does it suck? Yeah, because we don't got that much money, but we're making it, so we could handle those situations. But the biggest thing is with that is we're gonna have people reoccurring. We're gonna have reoccurring customers because it's we don't have the biggest logos, biggest brands, and this and that, because we want to be able to still get our name out there, but not go too crazy where we have to raise our prices outrageously. So we're right there in that middle where we could still market without overpricing,
right?
So
you say that though, but you guys have a podcast.
Yeah,
that's true. We're doing pretty good. You're doing pretty good.
We're all right,
We make the right moves. I feel like we make the right moves.
Yeah, and I feel like the podcast is such a good, it's different, right? You look around and you don't see a lot of plumbing companies out here doing a podcast, and that's what we want to do. That was different. It's okay, we keep throwing money into these different outlets, right? And it's just strikeout after strikeout. What works and what doesn't work. But coming into the podcast, you look around and there's no companies around us really doing that, at least here, right? And even when you look, because before walking into this, it was such a back and forth. Do we do it? You know what I mean? Is it the right move? But then we started looking on YouTube and for podcast, there are really 4 or 5 people that are doing it where you could find online.
Boring.
Yeah, and it's such water's hard. You need a repipe because hard water. It's just so monotone and boring. So it's I don't listen to them,
Yeah,
so
I tried.
Which is with this, it's man, we wanted to come in, still have fun. And we thought it was hey, well, why not try it, right? Why not try to do something different where no one else is really doing? And it helps our brand, but it also educates either new tradesmen coming in or people that are on the fence about joining the trades. And then just your normal homeowner that's oh, maybe I want to learn a little bit about plumbing, see what they could give me. So a little bit of education and then also a little bit of fun.
Yeah, always a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
So, you were talking about expenses and equipment and putting money into different things, whether it be marketing, whether it be the tools for the guys, things like that. What would you say the best innovation towards plumbing is, and where do you see plumbing going?
Man, that's a deep question. Oh man. So the best, what's out there now for the best, what are you getting at?
When I think of innovation, I think of those the press guns.
Yeah,
right?
You're talking about what's out there now. That's
right. What's
really,
out there now, and then where do you see it going?
What's really changed, right? Yeah. So, with that, I think one of the big innovations out there is, you're right, is the press tool. Copper, it was only soldering. Forever it was soldering. Am I a fan of the press tool? In certain situations, yes. And it's more of it's super nice, but it's making it too easy, right? But that's what you want, right? Because time is money. So you want to be able to get out there and knock it out. And we use it. So don't get me wrong, you know what I mean? We use the gun, but it's you also just don't want to make it to where it's there's no skill left in trades. It's nice, but that's the old head in me. Even though I'm young, I still got that old soul, it's man, now it just becomes too easy and people don't have to put thought process in it. My worry is it's going to become too easy and it's anyone could do it. And I don't know. I struggle with it because it's just you're going to get plumbers in the trades that aren't going to be willing to solder anymore because it's oh, well, I could just press this on, but it's you still need to know how to unsweat certain joints or whatever. There's still going to be situations where you can't get this massive press gun in a tight spot, So it's I love it because it's when you're in commercial and you're shutting down a massive hotel and that they have hundreds of guests in there, you're a press gun, you're in and out, boom, gone, right. So it's they're up and running. So in those situations, I love it, and I'll probably have some plumbers be that listen to this and be you hater, but yeah. But like I said, don't get me wrong. I think it's such a great innovation because it does help and it's so quick. Mainly if you're doing a new build, you could in and out, but I think in time it grows more on people, but you worry, is the press going to hold? Is it and did I crimp it enough so it's going to hold, or is it going to blow out tomorrow? I mean, you could worry about that with soldering too, but once you've done it for so long, you know what solder looks like when it takes into the fitting. Like,
I don't know. I sent you that picture where I think it was at the Brewers or the Phillies baseball stadium, and it was a pipe and it was pressed, and it said something like, "If a press is good enough for them, it's good enough for me."
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's all that.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, and then with that, I mean, I don't know. Where's plumbing going to be in 5 or 10 years? Like, there's so much coming out with, like, they keep talking about getting rid of the water heaters, the tank style water heaters, you know? Just recently, I only read a little bit on it, so don't hold me to it, but they were talking about, like, getting rid of PVC and, like, because
magic water, just
Bluetooth, baby. You know, just flush it. Just,
water from the gods.
Yeah, water from the great sky gods. You know, like, that's the thing. It's like, I'm like, okay, like PVC, yeah, okay, there's alternatives and stuff. You know, there's cast iron and whatnot, but it's like cast iron, like, obviously we've seen it fail. Like, we see it like snag up. I mean, it lasts a long time too. Like, they still use it in commercial applications and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like in the service, we run into a lot of fixing of cast, you know, relining cast and this and that. But I mean, it's like, where do you go from here, you know, with that? And obviously that's why I'm in the field, because I'm not an innovator. Like
One thing I think, and I've told you about this before, is like the Apple Vision Pro.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
And being able to see behind walls or looking at plans, when you're on a job site and you're able to just see it, and you can pull up. You know, you can pull up whether it's a YouTube video or a tutorial, or you could pull up the job plans themselves while you're looking at the actual location. I think that's somewhere we could see being used, like, very well in positive ways, and at least in the very near future.
Never wanted to have a superpower so bad, besides
see-through walls,
X-ray vision. Superman of plumbing, you know.
Yeah.
That's just that is crazy, because like we like to golf, and now that Apple Pro or whatever, the Vision Pro, whatever it is nowadays, it's like it'll like show you the line to hit, like when you're putting, like, here, like, it reads the greens for you, and it's like, hit it here and you'll make it in. I'm like, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy how far technology's coming in that aspect. So I do see it coming to that, right, where it's like, I think that would be nice in plumbing. But it's like, man, how close are we to having robots? The robots can be doing plumbing, like. But it's crazy, because I think it does help. Like, you could, you know, throw up different things. It's like, if you don't know how to solder, how do you solder? But it's like, I don't want that guy in my house. So it's like, it's such a back and forth with me, because I'm like, do I want things to, like, progress and get better? I think we all do. But at the same time, I'm like, it works now. Let it keep working the way it is. You know, it's the old head in me.
And me, I'm like, let's pivot. If there's something new, let's pivot. We'll find a way to work with it.
Yep. I like, you see so many jobs going away, right? And it's like in factories now, you just got, like, it's robots, and it's just robots building this stuff. And like, I always tell myself, man, there's no way in service plumbing can you get a robot in there, but you don't know. So it's like, it's such a weird thing. It's like, where do you go with it, right? Where does that go? Okay, if it gets to that extent, and plumbing it's so far progressed where we have robots doing service plumbing, like, where do we go? So it's like, as a plumber, you, like, worry about your job, right? As a guy in the field, as a business owner, you're like, cool, let's payroll.
Yeah, we'll get robots.
Yeah, we'll get robots and let's payroll, less mistakes, whatever. But it's like,
still, you have the diagnosing side, though. I think one of the coolest things I see is when you guys go and figure out a water main, and you have your steps to figuring it out. So, I mean, I could see the robots doing somewhere, like, especially new construction. I could 100% see that. But walking into a home and having a robot deal with the customer and then diagnose it, I don't know. Crazier things have happened.
Yeah, I don't know. That's like I say, that's my biggest, like, worry. It's like, are we gonna have a job in 15 years, 20 years? Hey, but look, they thought we were gonna have flying cars by now.
Yeah,
well, pretty close. We're not there yet.
Self-driving.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So we'll get there.
Yeah.
You brought up golf. It's so funny with golf, because I think we've made more golf friends in plumbing than we have ever outside of plumbing.
Yeah. Plumbing is a golfing trade, dude.
Right?
It's
crazy.
crazy.
So many service members play golf. That was another thing I was surprised about, was all the service people that play golf. Because it used to be like back in the day, this, you know, dress nice, show up to the country club, sip on your drink,
Now you got a landscaper out there golfing,
Yeah.
baby. What's up? I'm here. So, with that football player say, he's like, I'm not Tiger Woods. I'm Tiger Wish You Could. You know, that's me.
That's a day in our life.
Yeah, no, it is crazy. It's like I said, this is plumbing day in the life. Like we golf, man. We have fun out there. It's but it's such a great takeaway. You know, like you could like all these plumbers in our trade. Like a lot of them do golf now. So it's like that's what's nice is we go golf with different companies too. Like different employees, you know, and they're like, hey man, because you see them in the parts store, you like exchange numbers and stuff, and you're like, hey man, you golf? Yeah, let's go golfing. So it's like it's cool because like all these guys get to share their stories with one another and be like, oh, this is what I ran into. Speaking of day in the life, you know, there's a company out there here in St. George, and one of my buddies works for this plumbing company, and it was one of the craziest things, man, because like in my years, I have not experienced it yet, right? Like you run into some crazy things with drain work, but this other company, they ran a camera down a line, down one of the main lines, right? And this is all like me going based off the story of the guy that's working for this company. But he's like, they're running the camera down the line. For whatever reason, they got called out because they were having issues with their drainage, right? So they run their camera. Halfway down, there's a cat in there. There's a cat,
like a live cat.
Yeah, in a 4-inch pipe, like in their sewer pipe, their main line on the residential side. So they have like a 4-inch pipe, and they run the camera down. There's a cat in it, and they're like, so they had to get the cat out. The cat was alive, so they dug it up, cut the pipe, pulled the cat out.
That's crazy.
Craziest thing. But hey, they pivoted with that, and they started doing like animal charity, like sponsored by them or whatever. So it was a great marketing like spin off of it, you know?
Smart.
But I was like, live cat, that's insane.
Like we pulled dongs out like from that grandma's house. She swore it wasn't hers. Like what other stuff have you run into?
Oh man, I've ran into some crazy. So my craziest story, this one was wild. We run into a lot of crazy stuff out there, but we went to this hotel, right? And it was out in Cedar City. This hotel calls us out. Hey man, I've been trying to get a hold of like such and such company. Can't get them out. I have drainage issue in this hotel, right? And we're like, okay, like how long has it been going on? About 6 months. We're like, 6 months, and you're just saying something. He's like, well, it wasn't that big of a deal.
It worked.
The craziest thing though is like when we get there, the parking lot, like there's not a hole anywhere, right? It's just like there's cracks in the asphalt or whatever. There's toilet paper sitting on top of the asphalt in the parking lot. And we're like, okay, this is bad because your drain pipe is deep, right? So we go out there, we locate the line. They have like right outside of the like where the building starts, they have like concrete and then the asphalt, right? So we're there, we locate it and it's right here where some of the break is. So we're like, okay, like let's dig right here. We start jackhammering the concrete and it just falls in. Boom. And just this massive splash. We're like, what in the world? So we look down. There's like a 6-foot void, and it's a pond of poop and everything else.
That smelled great.
Horrible, dude. So it's like literally we're jackhammering this slab of concrete, and it just keeps falling in. And like there's really no way like to stop it because they have like a patio overhang. So we're like, it's what had to happen, right? We're like trying to have guys grab concrete, and they're grabbing some, but some would fall in. So guys are getting splashed in this stuff, and it is disgusting, bro. But anyways, we get it all dug up, and it's that Orangeburg like tar pipe, you know? So it's like we get a hold of it, it crumbles. We dig farther back, it crumbles. And we just keep digging farther and farther back. And it ended up being like a 50-foot run because it was just like as soon as the dirt moved away, the pipe just crumbled in on itself. So we couldn't find a good spot to connect onto. And the hotel owners did not want to like change it. They were so mad we had to keep going farther back. But literally like we had to get a pump truck out there to pump it up because it's all hazardous waste.
This was the one up by Brian's Head kind of, right?
Yeah, well, it's in Cedar.
Head.
Yeah, well, it's in Cedar. I forget what the hotel name is, but whatever. Obviously, we shouldn't even say that, but
yeah. No, I remember it because it was gonna cave in part of that roof. The pillars were like they had structural issues.
We had to support the pillars.
Yeah,
and we're like, this is just gonna hold you until you could get like an engineer out here or your framing guys out here to figure this out. But literally, like the guys are just covered and they are pissed off, dude. And me, I'm just sitting in a Mini X. Like, I'm like, I'm sorry.
You're dropping stuff in to make it splash more.
Yeah, I'm like, my bad, dude. But we had to get it pumped out and stuff. But there's like heroin needles in there, corn, like they're disgusting, bro. And it's like, and then you're just standing in this stuff, you know, like, yeah, we're plumbers, but yeah, that one was pretty brutal. But we got it fixed. I mean, at the end of it, it was fixed, but guys were pissed off. The management was yelling at Dan, and he's like just screaming at Dan, and he's like, you guys are plumbers and you're charging me so much money for this. But it was like, dude, we're in hazardous waste. And we really didn't like charge that much.
It was a fair job.
Yeah. And this was at where we worked prior to. And it was even at that point, I was like, dude, even me, I was like, this should have been more money, you know? But we're like, this is a fair job. And he's like, we're like, look at what we're in. Like, literally was a swimming pool of fecal matter and everything else. And we're like, dude, like, we have to get in this stuff. Yeah, we're plumbers, but like, you think we want to be in here? Like,
that's why they call it black gold.
Yeah. But anyways, that thing was crazy because I've never seen Dan almost get a fight with someone that guy was like in his face screaming at him. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty crazy.
Well, what do you think the craziest customer you had was then?
Craziest customer? I'm trying to think on that. I don't know. I've had a lot of crazy customers.
Yeah, but like crazy, like you go in their house and they have, you know, they're like hoarders, things like that. But like, have you had anyone like crazy?
I had one guy bring me in to his house. He lived in a double wide, and it sucked because I don't like talking bad. Not even bad. I don't like. Everyone has their life struggles, right? We all go through it or whatever, But yeah, I go into this dude's house and I feel for him, man. He lives in a double wide trailer, and it's like I walk in. And like you can smell it before you walk in, right? The house just reeks of like cat urine and whatever else. And like he walks me through the side. It's like a covered patio type thing. And because those double wides are kind of weird, right? Mm-hmm. And you're walking in and it's like, dude, there's just boxes to the ceiling, newspaper all over the floor, and like cat piss, and all their stuff is just all over the floor. And I'm like, oh, this is bad. You know, I walk in and literally there was enough for me to walk through. And he's like, be careful in the kitchen. His whole kitchen's caved in. Boom. Just because that OSB just rotted through. And it's caved in. And that was the one job I went out of my way for this guy. And like, was it safe for me to get underneath it? The house? Heck no. But like, this guy was down bad. And I'm like, dude, we should really get like a mitigation team in here and like structural guys in here to try to fix this stuff. Because it still was on steel beams, you know, but like the floor was falling in. And I'm like, we should really get this fixed. And he's like, dude, I don't have that kind of money. Like, I just need to get this pipe fixed. And I'm like, all right. So I crawl underneath it and I fix it. But he was still like unhappy with the damages done inside and was like kind of getting upset with me over it. I'm like, I'm just here to help you. But that was one of those situations where it's like sometimes being nice isn't the best thing. Because like he ended up being pretty rude with me towards the end of it. But there was like nothing we could do. That house was wrecked. And I told him, because he's like, well, can you come back in and fix underneath the kitchen? I had to tell him no. I felt so bad, but I'm like, dude, like, this is like unsanitary. Like, I cannot work in here because it stunk so bad and I couldn't handle it. And I'm pretty good about handling stuff, right? Like bad smells and stuff like that. But that one was just like, I couldn't be in there for longer than a minute before getting like my head start pounding. So it was one of those jobs I had to just walk away from. But it was, yeah, dude, I feel bad. I feel bad for those type of people.
Might have to do like a 2-part on this episode because there's so much to it. But if you had one philosophy as a plumber, what would you say that'd be? Or not even a philosophy. You could even give some advice to guys thinking about going into plumbing or going into the trades.
If you're going, my thing would be, like I said a little bit before, if you're coming into the trades, in service, right? I go back to service because new construction is different. You could go into new construction and not deal with people and just go do your job. Whatever. Most of it's bumper warranty or 1-year warranty, right? The new construction team does their job. And if it doesn't fail in the first year, cool. Fails after that, whatever. But people coming into it, people look at plumbers like, man, all you do is play with toilets. All you do is play in people's
like you're
crap.
always in poop. But like 90% of our work is more water-based or pipe-based.
Yeah, actually. Like, I mean, if you put in your name, you're just strictly a drain cleaner, you're probably going to see a lot more drain work, right? But if you put plumber, you don't see a lot of drain work. So, I mean, with that, you're running into a lot of different things. But like plumbing's not just drain work. is what I'm trying to get at with like new guys coming in.
So don't let that turn you off from being a plumber.
Yeah, man. My thing is like plumbing is fun, but it's like if you love dealing with people, you love being hands-on and like problem solving, like service plumbing's for you. You know what I mean? So like don't be afraid of it, because it's a good career, man. Like a lot of people I think fail to realize, right? We go to school, they're like, you gotta go to college, man. You gotta be a doctor. And I'm like, what about the tradesmen out there? Because like that's what I didn't know. I did trades, but no one really talked about it. You know, like tech schools were so like not mentioned, right? Yeah. Like when I was in school, no one told me about trade school. I actually didn't go to trade school till a couple years after high school. But
even then, like if you're told about trade school, sometimes like I was told, but then I'm like, what trade do I do? Everybody in my family's in law enforcement.
Yeah.
How am I going to pick a trade? So I ended up going the school route, which it's not a bad thing. I mean, it's gotten us here, but
you know what you're going for, right? If you're going to go to college, like, okay, I'm going to college to be a lawyer. Okay, I'm going to do this or whatever. My biggest thing is like, don't just go to college to go to college because that debt is crazy, you know?
It is, but it's the best time of your life.
Yeah, if you're a partier, you know, hey, that's true. That's true, you know. We're not going to get bad advice, but college can be a good time, you know? But that's like, don't sleep on trade schools. Like, that's what people do. They sleep on HVAC guys, electricians, welders, and plumbers, and all the trades, right? There's a lot of different trades, carpenters, like, but there's great money in it. Yeah, does your back hurt? Yeah.
Are you tired?
Yeah, you're beat. But it's like, it's rewarding at the end, man. Like you solve something like with plumbing in itself, right? Like someone's flooding and you catch it, you fix it, and then you're their best friend usually by the end of it. They're like, man, you saved us. Thanks so much. Like how many times have I had people give me a hug at the end? Like, thank you. I'm like, yeah, you're welcome. Like it's such like a throw off, you know? I've never met you, but sure, you know? But yeah, I think trade school is like, I wish people talked about it more, because the trades are dying, right? Skilled labor is dying. People don't want to do it no more. People are like, well, I could go work an office job with AC and make $16 an hour or whatever, $20 an hour, whatever it may be. But I think getting into trade school, man, even just doing it for a year and going to learn this and try to figure out different trades and which you may like, it's worthwhile. I don't think people should sleep on it at all because you can make great money. There's people in the trades making over $100,000 a year. You know, my second year of plumbing, second or third, whatever it may be, I made in 8 months. I made $100,000 in 8 months, and my last job maybe made 40,000.
Yeah,
like it was overnight. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that first year was brutal. I actually took a pay cut, but I knew I was like, well, plumbing should pay off, right? Like I see what these guys are making. They're making great money. Man, took my 3 kids and wife to Hawaii, paid for cash. Mm-hmm. And I was like, before that, I was like, man, I didn't have that. Like I was worried about going to get McDonald's. We got food at home kind of money, you know?
Ramen.
Yeah, go get that top ramen. So it's like I said, that's my biggest thing is don't sleep on the trades. Like try it. Don't let people like tell you otherwise. You know, if it's something you're wanting to do, go and do it. Like,
yeah. And I'll add on this that the boomer generation, so companies that started 80s, 90s, early 2010s, all those people, I think it's 95% of those people are selling their businesses right now.
Yeah.
So the opportunity's out there.
Yeah. A lot of people getting out of it. So like I said, you go to a construction site, right? You see more people in their 30s and above, like late 30s and above in the field. You don't see a lot of kids out there anymore, right? So that's the thing what I'm telling people is like, you got to realize like the trades are where it's going to be at because sooner than later, like I think they say the next like 10 years, right? A lot of these people are starting to retire. Well, there's more people retiring than there's people filling it, right? So it's like the demand is only going to get higher. So your prices only go up because the more people calling you, right? The more the price is going to go up. Like that's just inevitable for any business. Like you can't get to everything. So it's like if the whole industry is raising prices, you obviously you're going to come up with it because everything's going to go up. I think I was just watching Grant Cardone or something like that where he was talking about rent, right? That right now or in the next like 4 or 5 years, he was talking about that he sees rent going to like $4,000 a month being the minimum rent. And I'm like, if that's the minimum, where's everything else going to be, right? Because that means fuel's going to most likely go up, right? Like all these things will go up, with it. So it's like the trades will go up with it too. And if there's less people doing the trades, then it's going to go up higher because the demand is going to be outrageous. So it's like I tell people, everyone I talk to, I've gotten like 4 people into trades that worked at a hotel as a maintenance guy or worked here. I'm like, I just tell them, look at my check. Like, look at my check as an employee. As a business owner, it's different right now.
It's like a scene from Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, but I guess like I say,
you make 10 grand. Show me that right now. I'll quit.
Yeah, and literally what it is, dude. I'm like, here's my pay stub. You know, like get into plumbing because it is great money. So it's like, are you rich? Because the middle class is going away, right? Like we're not really seeing a middle class anymore. Like you're starting to see that dwindle. Like 100,000. Like I should have a nice single family home, 2 nice cars. Like you should have these things. Like because they used to back in the day. I live in a townhome that was built in 1970, you know, like we got 1 car as Subaru. It's nice, you know, like, but we have a roof over our head. So I'm grateful every day because like if I was making less, like, I don't know how people do it for less, you know what I mean? So it's like 100,000 really ain't that much money anymore. And that's the sad truth is like a cart of groceries, like $500 now. You're like, dang, where's all this money coming from? You know? So it's like I say, you can still be well off. Yeah. You're not going to be living the richest life, but you're gonna get by and have what you want. As long as you're good with your financials, you can live a great life out of a trade, you know, a good trade.
Yeah, my dad always used to say, he was in law enforcement high up, and he'd always say, as long as there's people, I have a job. So he's like, find something where the people require you to do work for them, and you'll always have a job.
It's a bad economy proof.
Yeah.
Recession proof.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, if you do it right, absolutely. That's where the low guys will fall out.
Yeah.
And then the high guys will remain. They'll get smaller, and the middle guys will thrive.
And that's why I tell people because I did new construction too. So like I was saying, like with service plumbing, water heaters are going to blow. Sewer mains are going to break. Like things are going to happen. Things fail. Are they going to do the more like renovation upgrades? No. But you'll have a job doing odds and ends, like water heater replacements, this, that, the things that fail. When new construction, they stop building homes, you stop having a job. Yeah. You know? So that's what I say. It's like, it's economy proof. Like, yeah, the checks may get lighter, but, you know, it's still great money.
And we'll wrap it up on this, but if you guys are looking for a job or looking for advice, please reach out.
Yeah, 100%.
We're happy to help. Even if we're not going to hire, we're happy to help. We're happy to guide you.
Yeah, we actually have a lot of people that call us from around everywhere, really. But someone just hit us up from Italy.
Like, Italy. Yep.
Italy and
he's
Tokyo,
trying to come
right?
over to the States and Tokyo.
Yeah. So, but free advice all the time. Plumbers have called us. The other people are like, hey, we're using this company and we just don't feel great. We're like, oh, well, have them do this or that. Like they're there, they're seeing it, but like ask these questions for him, you know, and like guide you in the right direction. So even if people just give us a call, like, oh, I got a leaky toilet. Like, I'll tell people all the time, like, hey, either I'm going to charge you my base price because you call us out and we're a business, or you could change your flapper ball. And then if that's still an issue, give me a call and then we'll come out and actually find the main solution. But try your fill valve, try your flapper ball. Those parts are going to cost you a lot. But as a business, what people forget to realize is like, yeah, are those parts cheap? Yes, but it costs us money just to show up at your doorstep, right? So it's like, I always give homeowners advice. Like, if you're willing to do this, try this. It'll cost you $50 or whatever. Try it. If it's still an issue, call me back. Or call me and I'll come fix it. And people love that. And they're like, oh, dude, you're our plumber forever. Like, you're not all about the money and just like taking. So we're all about, hit us up. You know, find our numbers. It's everywhere. You can find us. So hit us up for any questions.
Yeah, with that being said, 435-236-4568. You can check us out at dinoservicepros.com or on social media at Dino Service Pros.
I'm glad you remember those things because I don't.